Okay, guys, we are once again live, but this time we actually have some good news to talk about. So, I was just reading this article, and because it's interesting, right? Elon Musk is giving away millions of dollars for this election in the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Wisconsin voters go to the polls Tuesday for the state's Supreme Court election, which is drawing national attention as billionaire Elon Musk spends millions on the high stakes race, which could have national implications for House races and the 2028 presidential election, and how Musk owned Tesla. And so, here, these are the facts, and I think that this is just like a good refresher for everyone's memories. So, Musk and Donald Trump are backing the conservative judge, Brad Schimmel. The race will determine which party has the control of the Supreme Court in Wisconsin. Groups affiliated with Musk have spent at least $18.2 million backing Schimmel in the election, with more than $12.2 million of that from Musk's America PAC, which he used during the presidential election to back Trump. So Musk already spent $12.2 million just through his America PAC. They're leading a canvassing operation in which more than 500 staffers are knocking on voters' doors in Wisconsin, according to the New York Times, and the PAC is also repeating its playbook from the presidential election by offering cash to Wisconsin voters, including $100 to Wisconsin voters who sign a petition in opposition to activist judges, which is hilarious, and $20 to recruit a Wisconsin voter to take a photo giving a thumbs up for Schimmel. So literally paying people to go and vote, which is highly illegal. And this is something that people were trying to stop too. So the Wisconsin Attorney General sues Elon Musk to block $1 million payment offers, and this lawsuit was thrown out. A judge blocked this lawsuit. So the Wisconsin's Democratic Attorney General asked a court on Friday to block billionaire Elon Musk from handing out $1 million checks to voters this weekend. Right before the election, attorney Josh Cowell filed the lawsuit, and who stopped it? Musk initially said in a post on his social media platform X that he planned to personally hand over $2 million to a pair of voters who have already cast their ballots in the race. Musk later posted a clarification saying the money will go to people who will be spokesmen for an online petition against activist judges. After first saying the event would be open to people who had voted in the Supreme Court race, he said attendance would be limited to those who have signed the petition. And then he deleted that because it's illegal. So Call asked the court to order that Musk stop promoting the Sunday giveaway and not make any future payments to Wisconsin voters. Call referenced the changing plans for the Sunday event in arguing that any payment to voters was a violation of state law. Even though the original post was deleted, there has been no announcement that the payments will not be made, Call argued in the lawsuit. After a campaign stop in Beaver Dam in central South Wisconsin, Schimmel declined to say whether or not he thought Musk's proposal was illegal or whether Call's move was appropriate. I don't know, I'm not his lawyer. Wow, this guy is the judge that Wisconsin was potentially appointing to the Supreme Court, and he says, I don't know if paying people to vote for a certain candidate is illegal or not. I don't know, I'm not his lawyer. You're the judge, you're a judge, you should know. That's even higher importance than just being a lawyer. As for Call's lawsuit, he said, I don't care what he does. That's his business. I'm running for Wisconsin Supreme Court. I don't get involved in those legal battles. He's a judge. I don't get involved in legal battles, and I don't give legal advice. Holy shit, that's hilarious. The Supreme Court race, with spending above $81 million, has shattered previous records for U.S. judicial election and has become a referendum on Musk and the first months of Trump's regime. Just say Trump's regime. Trump endorsed Brad Schimmel, a fellow Republican, and hosted a telephone town hall with him on Thursday night. Okay, so I thought this lawsuit was blocked. Call's lawsuit was initially randomly assigned to Crawford, but reassigned to another judge in neighboring Columbia County within minutes. And why was it reassigned? Crawford is backed by a wide range of Democrats. The retirement. So why was it reassigned then? Oh, because she was the judge running against Cowell? Or she was the judge running against Schimmel? Musk's PAC said Friday that it awarded $1 million to Scott Ainsworth, a mechanical engineer from Green Bay. Okay, whatever. So what happened to the lawsuit? Any legal challenge to Musk's payments could end up before the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Musk changing the terms of his offer may mitigate this. Should I sign a petition? Okay, well, I guess like he just did it anyway, even though he's getting sued. A judge in Pennsylvania said prosecutors failed to show the effort was an illegal lottery and allowed it to continue through Election Day. So that's what happened. A judge in Pennsylvania said the prosecutors failed to show the effort was illegal. Wow. Okay. So anyway, I think it's hilarious that Elon Musk is like, oh, down with the activist judges, because obviously he just wants judges to sign with capital, or side with capital. He wants judges to be like, oh, well, I'll just do whatever, like the guy who pays me, I'll do whatever he says to do. He doesn't want judges. And I guess in that way, like, they are activists because they're actually sticking up for the law and they're not completely bought and they're not going to roll over like a wet paper towel roll that's just knocked to the side. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. Hey guys, happy to have everyone here. Okay, so let's continue reading this Forbes article though. So he awarded $1 million each to two voters on stage during a rally. And then he was also doing the thing where he's like $100 to Wisconsin voters who sign a petition in opposition to activist judges. Like, I wonder how much of this money he's actually going to pay out. I would be surprised if he pays anything out, to be honest. Trump endorsed Schimmel on Truth Social on March 21st, claiming if Crawford wins, the movement to restore our nation will bypass Wisconsin, and has doubled down in subsequent posts, writing on Truth Social that the election is a really big and important race that could have much to do with the few. I hate it when articles like pull out quotes. Just show us the actual quote. Just show us the tweet that Trump wrote. It's actually kind of like really fucking annoying. You don't have to like you don't have to change every single time. You don't have to like editorialize the tweets. Just show us the tweet. I hate it when they do that. I just want to see the actual source. So anyway, why was Elon Musk getting so involved with this? Oh, by the way, spoilers, but Crawford won. The conservative Schimmel lost. Well, obviously, it's really good for Wisconsin to have a liberal Supreme Court. They will defend abortion rights, and then that's like a big thing. And then there's countless other issues too that will inevitably arise at the Supreme Court. One other major issue is the idea that each state can develop its own elections, and because of that, the Supreme Court is kind of like the final arbiter in terms of what flies for elections or not. From anything from like gerrymandering districts to opening more polling places or deciding if certain actions are legal or illegal. Like maybe a conservative Supreme Court would say you can only vote, like these areas can only vote for 3 hours of the day for some reason or other because there's like too much crime in there or something. So that's like the big thing. So why does the Wisconsin Supreme Court election matter? The race will determine the ideological shift of Wisconsin's highest court, which could influence how the court rules on a number of very high-profile issues. The court will likely have to decide voting rules for the 2028 presidential election, in which Wisconsin will be a key battleground state. Abortion is also expected to be a key issue, as there are multiple lawsuits now pending before the court over whether the state's constitution protects abortion rights and whether to uphold a 19th century era law outlawing the procedure. And then also the court could decide gerrymandering maps, which could affect the representatives that go to Congress from Wisconsin and also the state senates. The other thing that was interesting is that Tesla has a lawsuit against Wisconsin, and so that's a big reason why Elon Musk was trying to get that conservative on the court, and especially someone who he knows will just like roll over and give the billionaires whatever they want. So Tesla wanted to open a dealership in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin basically has a law that says car companies can't own dealerships in our state. And Tesla isn't an exception to that rule. And so then Elon Musk is like suing them. And obviously he wants a conservative Supreme Court so that he'll win the lawsuit. Okay, let's just quickly take a look. Wisconsin election results. I want to see if people have videos.
Well, after months of speculation, President Donald Trump will unveil his new tariff plan today. Markets and consumers are bracing for new tax hikes.
Yeah, it comes a day after voters went to the polls in 2 key states for special elections. NBC's Alice Barr has more now from Washington.
This morning, after the first major elections of President Trump's second term, both Democrats and Republicans claiming victories, they hope point to a larger picture.
All right, Wisconsin, we did it.
Susan Crawford beating conservative Brad Schimmel.
You got to accept the results.
In Wisconsin's closely watched Supreme Court race, maintaining a liberal majority on the battleground state's high court, despite Trump advisor Elon Musk pouring millions into the race.
Wisconsinites fended off an unprecedented attack on our democracy.
And fueling Democrats' views of Musk as a political weakness.
Elon Musk was just rejected decisively.
While in Florida, 2 Republicans won special elections for congressional seats left vacant by Trump appointees, shoring up the razor-thin GOP House majority.
This election is a reminder that the Florida Panhandle will forever be red and it'll be forever Trump country.
Both candidates won by far smaller margins than President Trump's November victory, as Democrats look to seize on any sign of momentum. Senator Cory Booker set a record 25-hour-plus speech on the Senate floor against what he calls a national crisis posed by President Trump.
And he's violating principles that we hold dear.
It all comes as the nation and the world are bracing for the president's reciprocal tariffs rollout today against all foreign trading partners.
They've been ripping us off for years.
Canada among the nations awaiting a...
Okay, anyway, so yeah, obviously bad news with the tariffs that are happening, but, you know, it is something good, and also great to see, Smitty, that you went out and you voted, and there was like a lot of turnout. Obviously, it was a race that had national attention and a lot of money spent on it. There was one video that I wanted to watch, and it was by the Rational National, which is a good Canadian YouTuber. And he just like compiled a few clips that I wanted to show you guys. So I think that this is worth watching.
Elections and the lack of this news, because there are very few times that I want to be on social media. But last night was a time to be on social media, as people were dunking, laughing, rejoicing at the fact that Elon Musk poured so much time and money and effort into this race for the Supreme Court in Wisconsin and lost bigly, as Trump would say, that it was just a beautiful thing to witness. So as New York Times reports here, nobody expended more political capital in the Wisconsin Supreme Court contest than Mr. Musk, with the possible exception of the candidates. He invested at least $25 million to elect Judge Schimmel, posted about it seemingly nonstop on a social media platform, gave money to voters who signed a petition or posted photos in front of polling places, and came to the state for a rally where he handed out a pair of $1 million checks. I still don't know how this is legal, but he did it. Yet this was the result. Susan Crawford winning by a wide margin against Brad Schimmel. And as the New York Times writes here, turnout was up nearly 40% higher than the 2023 Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So
okay, I just wanted to find this clip. You guys should go watch his channel, and this video was pretty good. Also, goddamn avocado loco. You don't have to comment on the different setup every time.
There's a really good breakdown here from Harry Enton.
If you are a Republican candidate running in a swing state, you don't want Elon Musk anywhere near you. Yes, maybe you like the money, but you do not want his presence in your state. Why is that? Elon Musk, simply put, is an unpopular guy. He is political poison. Look in Wisconsin, his net favorable rating, minus 12 points, 12 points underwater. That is an even worse number when you look nationally. Look at that. It's minus 17 points. So if there's one big lesson to take away from Wisconsin is Elon Musk does not help Republicans when he shows up. If anything, the data suggests that he hurts them. Republicans, stay clear of Elon Musk if you want to win in a swing state, at least in terms of his physical appearance in your state.
I mean, that's just so funny. And then I also think, yeah, and then he had this article too. Trump tells Inner Circle that Musk will leave soon. So I don't know if that's going to happen. Like, I think that Elon Musk just has his tentacles so deep inside of the Republican Party, he might just drag the Republican Party down with him. But it's interesting to talk about. And speaking of state Supreme Courts, so yeah, this was more about that. There was another story that I wanted to talk about that was actually good news. Louisiana abortion case. Was it not Louisiana? Oh, I think it was Alabama. Yeah, so on Monday, a federal judge ruled that Alabama's attorney general cannot prosecute people and groups who helped Alabama women travel to other states. So this is what Republican states are doing right now. They not only made abortion illegal for the women inside of their states, but now they're trying to make abortion illegal elsewhere. And so if the women in their states travel outside of the state to get care in a different state, if they had any kind of person helping them whatsoever, then those people are going to be prosecuted because it's like you aided and abetted them doing something illegal. And so those people are going to be prosecuted. Certain states are trying to prosecute the women that are going out of state to get abortions, even if doctors are prescribing like oral abortion medication, and maybe a doctor in like Wisconsin is prescribing it to someone in Alabama, and then they're sending that abortion medication in the mail. They're trying to make that illegal. But this was a huge win. So abortion rights groups lobbied against this law, and they actually got a federal judge to overturn it. So this is probably going to be something that is going to end up in the Supreme Court. And we can only hope that the United States Supreme Court isn't completely lost enough where they're going to say, no, you can actually sue and go after people that are helping women going and getting abortions in other states. Let's read this a bit. Alabama's attorney general cannot prosecute people and groups who help Alabama women travel to other states to obtain abortions, a federal judge ruled Monday. U.S. District Judge Myron Thompson sided with an abortion fund and medical providers who sued Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall after he suggested they could face prosecution under anti-conspiracy laws. It's just so crazy. It's like these groups pay for gas. These groups find women lodging. These groups might actually like get a bus and help women get like a bus ticket or something, or find a doctor in another state. And just doing that means that like at least until Monday, you were like opening yourself up to being prosecuted by the attorney general of the state. Thompson's ruling declared that such prosecutions would violate both the First Amendment and a person's right to travel. Marshall has not pursued any such prosecutions. However, he said he would look at closely whether facilitating out-of-state abortions is a violation of Alabama's criminal conspiracy laws. The ruling was a victory for Yellowhammer Fund, an abortion assistance fund that had paused providing financial assistance to low-income people in the state because of the possibility of prosecution. Alabama bans abortion at any stage of pregnancy, with no exceptions for rape and incest. It is one thing for Alabama to outlaw by statute what happens in its own backyard. It is another thing for the state to enforce its values and laws as chosen by the Attorney General outside its boundaries by punishing its citizens and others who help individuals travel to another state to engage in conduct that is lawful there, but the Attorney General finds to be contrary to Alabama's values and laws. So, yeah, that's interesting. Thompson said it would be the same as the state trying to prosecute Alabamians planning a Las Vegas bachelor party since casino gambling is also outlawed in the state. The Yellowhammer Fund, an obstetrician, and others had filed lawsuits seeking a court declaration that such prosecutions are not allowed. Today is a good day for pregnant Alabamians who need lawful out-of-state abortion care, Janice Fountain, executive director of Yellowhammer Fund, said in a statement. The efforts of Alabama's attorney general is to isolate pregnant people from their communities and support systems has failed. A spokesperson for the Alabama Attorney General's office said the office is reviewing the decision to determine the state's options, basically saying, are we going to appeal this and try to take it to the Supreme Court? And so, guys, like, this is what we're seeing now is really a rebuff to the idea that politics don't affect people's lives. Like, that obviously has never been true, but it feels like we've been living in kind of like this quagmire, at least until Roe versus Wade was overturned, where nothing really mattered. Like, maybe certain unions would have an ability to form better under Biden, and maybe there'd be some more like investing in America's infrastructure under Democratic presidents, and maybe Republicans would like cut taxes more. But the two parties were essentially the same. Like, Democrats always better than Republicans, but still not a huge difference in what was going on. But now, like, we have the Republicans have gone completely mask off and completely fascist and stripping away rights from people left and right. And even though the Democratic Party isn't doing a good job of standing and facing that threat head on, these decisions and these court rulings can actually still like have a meaningful difference when it comes to standing up in the face of fascism. Like, when the difference between abortion rights groups sending money to low income women so that they can get the health care they need is a court ruling. Like, this court ruling had immediate consequences, allowing women to now get support that they weren't getting anymore because of these draconian fascist laws that the Republicans were passing. All right, what chat is Alabama is a different country? Yeah, that's Alabama. Alabama is yeah, it's on another level, I guess. But anyway, the other thing that we really need to talk about is this total crackdown of freedom of speech. So I think Marco Rubio had a statement on this. I want to see, is there like news for this? Tim Tebow, wife pay visit to Trump, fellow Florida alum, Marco Rubio in Oval Office. Oh, Tebow? Is that a Florida Gators? Is that football? Rubio orders U.S. diplomats to scour student visa applicants. Okay, this is what I was hearing. So Rubio orders, oh my God, it's the New York Times. Rubio student visas. NPR had a pretty good article on this. Rubio says U.S. revoked more than 300 student visas. Secretary of State Marco Rubio remarks to the press. All right, let's see the BBC.
We gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. And if we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that, we're going to take it away. I encourage every country to do that, by the way, because I think it's crazy to invite students into your country that are coming onto your campus and destabilizing it. We're just not going to have it. So we'll revoke your visa, and once your visa is revoked, you're illegally in the country and you have to leave. It might be more than 300 at this point. We do it every day. Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa.
You're saying it could be more than 300
sure,
visas?
I hope. At some point, I hope we run out because we've gotten rid of all of them. But we're looking every day.
Okay, so that's a quite obvious attack on freedom of speech. He's explicitly saying we're going to revoke your visas depending on what you're doing. And he says, like, destabilizing campus, which is hilarious. And what I think is funny is, like, there's not really an analogous conservative movement in universities that you can look at. And that's just because higher education is not conservative. Higher education is a liberal institution, and the people that engage in higher education are liberals. So this is like this move by the Republican Party is really an attack on two fronts. He's like, they're killing two birds with one stone. They're cracking down on freedom of speech and stripping away people of their rights, and they are also targeting liberal institutions, liberal universities, which they have railed against for decades. For decades, they've gone after liberals and saying that universities are making our kids woke and stuff like that. And I guess there's also the anti-immigration sentiment that the Republican Party has. So it's really like a three-pronged thing. Shoot, what was I going to look up? Oh yeah, U.S. citizens detained by ICE. Oh yeah, this was crazy. This is actually crazy. What are the laws here anyway? ICE can detain an immigrant for a period that varies greatly depending on individual circumstances, including the length of court proceedings, the complexity of the case, and the availability of travel documents, potentially ranging from weeks to years. I actually wanted to look something up. So like Customs and Border Patrol or Border Protection. So is ICE underneath the U.S. Customs and Border Protection? Login news and updates. Just can I read something like on about? About CPB. Who we are. With more than 60,000 employees, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, is one of the world's largest law enforcement organizations and is charged with keeping terrorists and their weapons out of the U.S. while facilitating lawful international travel and trade. Damn, bro. Really just like straight up going after keeping terrorists and their weapons out of the U.S.? Vision statement, mission statement, who cares? Enduring mission priorities, who even really cares, honestly? Is ICE underneath this, or is ICE a different thing? Does anyone know? Students with visas are used / exploited by groups. Is ICE part of CBP? No, it's not. It's not a part of CBP, according to AI. This is the U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, so this is ICE. What is the U.S. Immigration's mission? What should applicants know about ICE? Oh, this is career FAQs. So you can apply to be ICE. Okay, I kind of want to apply to be ICE. Where may I find and apply for ICE jobs? Wait, here we go. ICE and CBP are both components of the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. CBP enforces customs and immigration law at and near the border, and ICE enforces customs and immigration laws at the border as well as in the interior of the United States. CBP is charged with keeping terrorists and their weapons out of the U.S. while facilitating lawful international travel and trade. ICE is responsible for protecting the United States from the cross-border crime and illegal immigration that threaten national security and public safety. Okay, so guys, I just want to like make this abundantly clear. ICE is redundant. Like immigrations and customs enforcement is completely redundant. We already have the police department, which cracks down on crime. The police department doesn't say, oh, you're not a citizen? Well, I guess we can't prosecute you then. The police department isn't like, oh, they're out of our jurisdiction. They're actually a citizen of Venezuela. We can't go after them. And ICE doesn't even like patrol the borders. That's Customs and Border Patrol. Yeah, that's CBP. And so, yeah, ICE is completely redundant. So what effectively is ICE? Well, effectively, it's just like this extrajudicial group that really doesn't have to answer to anyone. And it's so shocking. Like, when we talk about the level of oversight that ICE has, they have nothing. Like, there's no one overseeing them. And I actually want to play something from you guys that I heard yesterday, which was really good. I wonder if I can find it. I don't know. The majority report had an immigration lawyer call in and just give a few anecdotes about how really ICE has no oversight whatsoever. Like, if a cop shuts off his body cam, then all of their arrests are going to be gone through and re-scrutinized. ICE lawyers, like lawyers that work for ICE, he's had an example of where a lawyer just completely fabricated a document saying that this one person was charged with a criminal offense and then deported earlier, and that was like a completely fake document, and then he was fired, but none of his other cases were ever gone through. Okay, so listen, guys, what am I saying? ICE doesn't have to answer to anyone, okay? ICE really doesn't have to answer to anyone. They have, Trump has used Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and the idea that America is in this state of emergency and we have terrorists flooding into the border, Tren de Aragua, and maybe we have to also invade Mexico to take out the cartels because they're terrorist organizations too. He basically has just given himself this power of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. And we know that it's not used to just fight terrorists or just go after people that are in the country illegally, because they're also going after people that are in the country legally. There are countless examples of people with green cards, student visas, or even citizens that have been targeted, detained, beaten up, and kicked out of the country, deported at the end of the day. And that's because of their speech that they are doing. So it hasn't even been around for very long. Why did it suddenly become necessary? Well, that's the thing. It's not necessary. It's a redundant organization. The reason that it is being so beefed up and so utilized by the Trump regime is because it's giving Trump this extrajudicial arm that he can use to attack anyone that he doesn't like without any due process. So we already have Fox News. Hold on. Fox News, the Jessica Tarlov or something. Jessica Tarlov. We already have Fox News like advocating for what show is she on? It's like the 5? Is it the 5? Hold on. Fox News, no due process. Because this was crazy. David Pakman. All right, we're gonna watch this David Pakman video, but I'm just gonna watch the actual part where he plays Fox News' video. Nope. Does he not play Fox News' video? Anyway, guys, so like we already know that Fox News is a propaganda arm of the conservative movement, and they're already advocating for a lack of due process. They're like, okay, well, like when we're deporting so many people, of course some mistakes are going to be made. Sometimes people are going to be caught up in things like that one guy who's famous right now, the gay barber who just has a tattoo that says mom or something on it, and he got deported to a Venezuelan prison. Not the Venezuelan prison, the prison in El Salvador. The soccer player who was literally like tortured by the regime in Venezuela that escaped gets picked up because he has a tattoo of like a soccer ball or something, and so then they send him off. So, I mean, obviously, I feel like I don't need to explain it, but I will. The importance of due process is so the government knows that like the people they are accusing of something is actually guilty of it. And so when you just say, okay, this guy has a tattoo and he speaks with a Hispanic accent, let's pick him up, that's not an actual reasonable criteria to determine if someone's guilty of crimes. And the other thing that I have to say is like obviously we have been deporting people based off of crimes, but why are we deporting them? If they've done crimes, let's put them through the justice system in America. Seems weird. Like, that's just a weird concept. Oh, you've done a crime? Okay, well, you gotta go. Instead of being like, oh, you've done a crime? Well, let's like try you and then punish you for the crime that you committed. Just like, obviously this is just racism at the end of the day. Those dudes were Tren de Aragua members. They go through due process. Immigration topics is the only main topic that is talked about in agriculture and construction jobs. The only main topic? I mean, we don't know if they were Tren de Aragua members. We don't know if, like, they definitely haven't gone through due process because they got picked up and then shipped out while a judge was literally saying, don't deport these people, like putting a halt on the deportation of the people. So yeah, they definitely didn't have due process. And this is something that I also wanted to talk about. ICE admits to an administrative error after Maryland man sent to El Salvador prison. So this is crazy. A Maryland man with protected legal status was sent to the notorious prison in El Salvador following an administrative error, a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement official admitted in a sworn declaration on Monday. By the way, this is so cute. JD Vance goes on to Twitter. Let me see if I can find this. JD Vance ICE tweet. JD Vance's late night tweet was just god awful. Okay, he might have deleted it, so let's just take a look at this. Everything's a video these days. Do they have the tweet? All right, let's just pause when they throw the tweet up there. Okay, here we go. My comment is that according to the court document you apparently didn't read, he was a convicted MS-13 gang member with no legal right to be here. My further comment is that it's gross to get fired up about gang members getting deported while ignoring citizens they victimize. Which is hilarious. Like, Sam Cedar brings this point up, but being in a gang is not technically illegal. Like, you have to try them for conspiracy, like a RICO charge, or get them off of a crime that they did. Anyway, so he was responding to John Favreau that says, any comment on this, Marco Rubio? Or how about you, JD Vance? You just admitted to accidentally sending an innocent father from Maryland to a torture dungeon in El Salvador, and you refused to do anything about it. And, like, let's not split any hairs here. This is a torture dungeon in El Salvador. It's a reason why Trump is laughing and using it as a threat against people that are, like, vandalizing Teslas or boycotting Teslas, saying that we're gonna, like, you might like it in El Salvador. This is, like, a level of... It's a level of inhumanity that we don't really have in the United States, at least in our prisons, because our prisons are still actually subject to laws. And so, yes, this is a torture dungeon. Anyway, the reason I brought up this JD Vance tweet is because it's hilarious. The Trump administration has people that are, like, ideologically still just completely devoted to the cause of being like a racist, fascist piece of shit. And then there are some people that are like, I'm still kind of a proceduralist. I'm still going to declare in a sworn statement that this was a administrative error that sent them there. So it's like, people are still like, okay, I'm not willing to completely lie and have a complete departure from reality and just say, no, I'm ignoring all of these court documents that said that this man had protected legal status in the United States. I'm just going to say that he was a convicted MS-13 gang member and completely lie like what JD Vance did. So anyway, let's just read a bit more about this. A Maryland man with protected legal status was sent to the notorious prison in El Salvador following an administrative error. A U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement official admitted in a sworn declaration on Monday. Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, who has a U.S. citizen, that is a sick name, by the way, who has a U.S. citizen, wife, and 5-year-old child, is currently at CECOT, the notorious prison in El Salvador. Okay, that's what it's called? CECOT? The filing is part of a new lawsuit filed by Abrego Garcia's attorneys who are requesting that the government of El Salvador return him to the U.S. after being sent there because of an administrative error. And guys, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about due process. These people, the Trump regime's like fascist arm is picking up, there's no evidence that they're like these criminals that they claim they are. Abrego Garcia's attorneys said that he is not a member of or has no affiliation with Tren de Aragua, MS-13, or any other criminal or street gang, and said that the U.S. government has never produced an iota of evidence to support this unfounded accusation. But we know the U.S. government doesn't plan on producing evidence. It's the exact same reason why these fucking idiots in the White House were using a Signal group chat instead of using official lines of communication. Because if they use official lines of communication, those messages are recorded and put into White House documents. And Trump in his last administration got called out on the use of these documents, and that's why he's getting prosecuted for like 7,500 crimes that he did while he was president. And so they don't like evidence. These people just don't want to leave any kind of evidence. They're not proceduralists. They're just fascists who decide who's bad and who's not, and who goes into a torture camp and who doesn't. Yeah, everyone that has a tattoo is a member of both MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. And I guess if your last name is vaguely Hispanic sounding, that's the other criteria they use. In response to the error, the government has acknowledged the error, but said in a filing that because Abrego Garcia is no longer in U.S. custody, the court cannot order him to be returned to the U.S., nor can the court order El Salvador to return him, which is just insane to think about. I mean, is the guy even from El Salvador? No, I guess I don't know, but it doesn't even matter. He had protected legal status in the United States. So listen to this. According to Abrego Garcia's attorney, in 2019, a confidential informant had advised that Abrego Garcia was an active member of the gang MS-13. He later filed an I-589 application for asylum, and although Abrego Garcia was found removable, an immigration judge granted him withholding of removal to El Salvador. So literally a judge granted him a letter that says, do not deport to El Salvador, and then they deported him to El Salvador. But earlier this month, he was stopped by ICE officers who informed him that his immigration status had changed, not true whatsoever, after being detained over gang affiliations. He was transferred to a detention center in Texas. He was then sent to El Salvador on March 15th. He's a native and a citizen of El Salvador, was on the third flight and thus had his removal order to El Salvador executed, said Robert Alcerna, acting field office director for ICE in a sworn declaration. This removal was an error. In response, the government said Abrego Garcia had the opportunity to present evidence to show he's not a part of MS-13. Abrego Garcia had a full and fair opportunity to litigate the issue, the government said. He had the opportunity to give evidence sending to show he was not a part of MS-13, which he did not proffer. What is that? Bro, what happened to innocent until proven guilty? Oh, can you prove to me that you didn't kill someone? I mean, where's the proof that you didn't kill someone? Or in the classic God debate, can you prove to me that God doesn't exist? Have you looked under every single rock across the entire universe? Maybe God's under the rock that you didn't look under. The government has the responsibility on them to provide proof that he is a gang member. What is happening where they're like, oh, well, you never said that you never gave us evidence where you're not a gang member. This is crazy. Vice President J.D. Vance said in a statement on X that Abrego Garcia was a convicted MS-13 gang member with no legal right to be in the U.S. Literally had a judge note saying that he should not be deported to El Salvador. That's about as close to a legal right as you can get. In the filing, Yakov Amaroth, acting Assistant Attorney General Civil Division for the Department of Justice, said the court lacks jurisdiction to review the removal of Abrego Garcia, and said that the plaintiffs are seeking his release from Salvadoran custody by financial pressure and diplomacy. Okay. Roth also adding in the filing that there is no clear showing that Abrego Garcia himself is likely to be tortured or killed. What? Wait, who is this Roth person? Bro, this shit is so funny. He's the acting Assistant Attorney General Civil Division for the Department of Justice, and he's saying that the court can't do this, and said that the plaintiffs are seeking his release. So, yeah, are you going to use financial pressure and diplomacy to get him back? I mean, you have a deal to send him, basically Americans to the El Salvadoran prison. Kekut. He's not himself likely to be tortured or killed in Kekut. While there may be allegations of abuses in other Salvadoran prisons, very few are in relation to the large number of detainees There is no clear showing that Abrego Garcia himself is likely to be tortured or killed in What the fuck, bro? Why are we sending people to a place where you're like, well, I mean, there's no clear indication that he's going to be tortured and killed there. It doesn't matter. Even if it's a fucking, like, picnic in the middle of a field, he shouldn't be forced to go there illegally. Like, it doesn't matter what the conditions are besides the point. That's another argument. But it's like, what the fuck? Why are you focusing on that? More fundamentally, this court should defer to the government's determination that Abrego Garcia will not likely be tortured or killed in El Salvador. Wait, what? More fundamentally, this court should defer to the government's determination. How is that more fundamentally? Oh, we sent him to a place where he's not likely to be tortured or killed. When the prison you sent him to is notorious for tortures and killings within the prison. This is fucking hilarious, dude. The Maryland person will be back home. He just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. No, dude. No. There is no wrong place at the wrong time in America while Trump is president. What are you talking about? ICE goes after people. Like, they have lists of people that they're going after. And it's the same with fucking student activists. Once again, man, I go back to that. Who was the woman that did the response to the State of the Union? Trump, speech, Democrat, response. That's not how you spell response. Who is this? Senator Alyssa Sloan? Okay, this must have been AI. Alyssa Slotkin. I keep wanting to say Elise Stefanik. It's Alyssa Slotkin. She's the one that says, we need people to be marching in the streets. We need principled leaders and engaged constituents. And it's like, the people that are marching in streets are getting blackbagged and deported if their immigration status is not like full citizen. And so it just shows like a complete departure from reality from the Democrats, like completely sticking their head in the sand when it comes to what the Trump regime is doing. Oh my God. Okay. Speaking of this, let's see, Amy Klobuchar. So, I don't know if you know this. I am a resident of Minnesota, and I just think it's so funny how Amy Klobuchar voted for Marco Rubio. She voted to confirm Marco Rubio. Like, a lot of people voted for Marco Rubio. Let's see if Amy Klobuchar, who is, I think she's like the second highest senator, like underneath Chuck Schumer. Let's see if she's spoken out about this deportations at all. Congratulations to Wisconsin. Thank you, Senator Booker, for your unwavering strength and courage. Like, this is the other thing. Why was Booker filibustering? Why was he giving a 25-hour long speech? Democrats are on the offense. Senator Amy Klobuchar, the number 3 Senate Democrat. Okay, number 3 Senate Democrat. So yeah, she definitely holds some power. Told reporters Tuesday afternoon, ask Cory Booker. Cory Booker has bashed Trump on the Senate floor for 22 hours and counting. Okay, that's the Democrats being on the office or on offense. We won't stand for President Trump using emergency powers to wage an unjustified trade war with Canada. It's a trade war. Today is Election Day, Wisconsin. Okay, election. Just left the Senate floor where I joined Senator Booker after his marathon night with more to come. We're standing up for democracy and against the Republican tax plan that gives more money to billionaires on the backs of the American people. Costs are going up, not down. Okay. The morning has arrived and he's still speaking. Taken to the Senate floor. Such sad news. America needs to lead on AI. Holy fucking shit, bro. This was Monday and she's posting America needs to lead on AI and we need rules of the road that work. Why? What? Like, you're focused on AI right now? As people literally can't even leave the country unless they're like people can, like, we have a travel warning placed on America by like 12 countries saying don't go there because you're going to be detained. Like, when you are crossing into the American border, Customs and Border Patrol will take your phone. they'll look at your social media, and if you criticize Trump, you're not allowed in. You're going to be detained, bro. You're going to be added to a list. Okay, talking about Social Security. Like, this is so crazy, man. Elon Musk. Canvassing. All right, let's try this. I'm going to call Amy Klobuchar. She probably won't answer, though. I tried calling her yesterday, and she never answered. Let's try doing it on stream. U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar. So we'll try her DC office, which, yeah. I swear, like, it's easier for sure to contact your local representatives and your local politicians than it is to call your senator. But, like, definitely a senator that is shitty, like Amy Klobuchar is. All right, let's see if she says anything.
Hi, thank you for calling Senator Amy Klobuchar's Washington office.
Okay, so the Washington office is not answering calls. Let's call her Minnesota office and see if they're answering calls. And once again, this is like an exercise in futility, but I'm just like trying to demonstrate how interesting it is that during this time, this senator is completely untouchable. And just like, she has 5 fucking offices and they're all closed.
Sorry. Office of Senator Amy Klobuchar is not available.
Oh, the office of her is not available. Okay. Well, she has a few more. Let's try one more. I mean, guys, you should be calling your senators too. And I know it's not fun, but just be like, yo, you gotta like stand up to this shit. At least make a statement on it. She's not even making a statement. She's not even acknowledging that Trump is going after people's freedom of speech.
Sorry. Office.
All right. Okay, we got 2 more offices. We got 2 more. Maybe I should fax them. Maybe their fax machine isn't or maybe their fax machine is working. Okay, that one's not working. And last one. So this is 5 fucking offices, and none of them have anyone working there. They're all closed. She's not doing town halls. I called and they're like, well, like, she'll do a town hall once a year. I'm like, okay, maybe you can do a little bit more than that. But no, she wants to talk to Jen Psaki on like CNN. Or say, we need to lead. Let me talk to Axios and talk about leading AI efforts.
This is the Southern Minnesota office for Senator Amy Klobuchar. We're unavailable. Thank you.
Okay. Yep, all 5 offices are closed. I mean, it's completely fucking useless, man. It's so embarrassing. This is the number 3 senator in the... This is the number 3 Democrat in the Senate. Or number 3 Democrat in the Democrats of the Senate. And she's unable to take calls. She's talking to Axios about a bipartisan legislation to reform AI legislation. Why? Like, dude... The Republicans are completely off the rails. They're dismantling government. The Republicans in Congress gave up their own power to rein in tariffs because they didn't want to stand up to Donald Trump at all. They're like, oh, Donald Trump wants to pass tariffs and we know that's going to be unpopular. Well, let's just say that we can't have that ability to stop his tariffs anymore. So we're in that continuing resolution bill. The Democrats or the Republicans gave up the ability to stop the tariffs. It's out of our hands. We can't do anything. It's all Donald Trump now. It's a fucking dictator. And she's like, oh, we need to lead on AI. So I'm going to join Axios to discuss bipartisan legislation. Insane. She's introducing it. She's working on bipartisan AI legislation. When people can't even fucking go across the border to visit their family in Canada or go to Mexico to visit their family there, or have like family members come in from other places of the country or from other countries if they've criticized Donald Trump because the fucking border patrol is checking their social media. This is like legitimately worse than China now. And I just can't believe it. I really can't believe that the Democrats are so chicken shit. They're not even calling out this blatant violation of people's First Amendment rights for their freedom of speech. They're not calling this shit out at all. Like the other senator from Minnesota, Tina Smith, she made a statement saying this was an attack on people's First Amendment rights. Amy Klobuchar, nothing. Oh my God. And this is the thing, guys. We know that the Trump administration is going to, like, they're going after people's criticisms of them and of Israel. They're targeting students, so they're targeting academia, and they're targeting immigrants. So they're targeting, like, they're obviously, like, playing to their strengths, right? They are, with this crackdown, they're getting their base riled up. I mean, they're like, okay, our base already hates immigrants. Let's target them. Our base already hates liberal institutions like universities. Let's target them. Our base, I guess, likes me, so we're going to target people that criticize me. And I'm talking about, like, from the perspective of Donald Trump. But they're going to run out of immigrants soon. And people are going to get used to being arrested or criticizing Donald Trump. People are going to get used to being like, okay, yeah, like, I'm friends with an immigrant, so I don't really want to talk about Trump too much because, like, my friend follows me on social media. What if they check me out and then they see that, like, this undocumented person, or maybe they even have a green card or they're on a student visa and they follow me and I've made a few tweets that are, like, anti-Israel. And so then they're going to go after my friend. So even, and like hypothetically, even if I'm a citizen, that's going to limit the speech that I'm willing to put out online and even like in a protest in person and stuff like that. It's so this obviously has a chilling effect for people that aren't, even people that have full citizenship. It has a chilling effect on them. For sure, it has a chilling effect on people that aren't full citizens of the United States, no matter what your legal status is. Like, we literally have just seen someone sent to a torture prison where they had a judge's order directly saying, don't deport this person to a torture prison. And they're like, we didn't see it on time. He's there. We can't do anything about it. He probably won't get tortured and murdered there. We just really need to get to the fundamental basics of he probably won't be tortured and murdered. Like, fucking insane shit where they're like they're advocating for a dropping of due process because we have this giant emergency that we made up that now, because there's millions and millions of terrorists in the country, like we have to drop due process because it's such an emergency. They're going to be going after citizens too. So I just want you guys to get this straight. This is an attack on immigrants. It's an attack on universities. But at the end of the day, it's an attack on freedom of speech, and that's going to bleed over into citizens. It's going to affect citizens as well, like American citizens. Like, already we know that there is not a difference in legal protections of green card holders to American citizens, and we're seeing green card holders getting detained and deported. So why wouldn't it happen to citizens too? This is an erosion of people's rights. It's an erosion of people's expectations in terms of what kind of legal protections they can expect in the United States. And as soon as the Trump administration feels like they've sufficiently eroded people's just like optimism and happiness in the United States, they're going to start going after people people that are legal residents or like citizens of the United States too. So, hey, what's up, James Emery? Cory Booker happened to remain silent on Khalil during a 25-hour rant on Trump administration's destructive decisions. Okay, that's obviously like extremely sad, but it's kind of funny that I just have a mental image of you like sitting there all 25 hours. But yeah, it's not surprising. It's extremely disappointing that the Democrats that are representing us are being like, no, like obviously it's a crackdown on freedom of speech, but I need answers. I need to know why this happened. I think there was like 50 Democratic Congress people or Democratic representatives in Congress that were saying, like they like wrote a letter to DHS and they're like, why was Mahmoud Khalil arrested and detained? It's like, we know why. We fucking know why. It's not a mystery. And then the Democrats like, shit, I always forget her name. What is her name? It's not Elise Stefanik, Elia, so whatever. That one Democrat, we have Democrats also saying, no, things are only going to change when people are out in the streets, and I need to be a principled leader so I can lead you guys, lead my engaged constituent. It's like, we need engaged constituents, but I'm not going to be engaged. I'm just going to be principled. I'm going to like sit up in my ivory tower and say, you go march in the streets. And then when you go march in the streets, you get fucking detained. So it's just the Democrats don't believe in anything. Obviously, there are some Democrats that do believe in things like AOC, Bernie Sanders, Tim Walz, and they're actually taking action on stuff. They're like going out there, spreading the word, vocalizing people's fears that they're having, saying like, you're not unfounded in this. But then you have other Democrats that are just like, everything is usual. It's business as usual. Amy Klobuchar voted for 7 of Trump's cabinet nominations. She was like one of the highest in the Senate. Chuck Schumer allowed this. He allowed the budget to pass. He, instead of shutting down the government. And I mean, like, guys, we wouldn't have these deportations if the government was shut down. That's like the end of discussion. Oh yeah, we need to keep the government set up, and then RFK fires like 10,000 workers from HHS. He like reduces our studies on infectious diseases by just entire departments wiped out. Oh, well, at least we kept the government awake. At least we kept it running. It's just like we have people that are leaders in name only that are not stepping up to the plate whatsoever. So it's really dark, guys. It's really dark. And that's something that like, yeah, it's something that I've been thinking about, like as a content creator, as a YouTuber that speaks out about this shit. It's like there's only a matter of time before they start going after YouTube or going after individual content creators, being like, you're allowing this stuff, we're going to sanction YouTube, we're going to hit them with like frivolous lawsuits that are completely meaningless, that we would lose, but like we're going to like put you through a hassle to try to defend yourself. And it's just it's only a matter of time, guys. Like Hassan, his parents are citizens assumably, but it doesn't matter. Like Trump's trying to get rid of birthright citizenship, obviously. They're already laying the groundwork for this stuff. So they're saying if you attended a protest, you like did immigration fraud, you signed up for your green card or you signed up for your student visa under false pretenses, because if we knew that you were going to come into the country and start protesting our country, then we would never have let you in the first place. This is their line. That's the line that they've gone with. And so what's to stop them from saying, oh, you filled out your green card under false pretenses. What about your citizenship application under false pretenses? Sure, you're a citizen, but you just got it like 10 years ago, and now you're doing now you're protesting against me, Donald Trump, or you're protesting against Netanyahu and Israel. Like, if we knew that you were going to do that, we'd never allow you to become a citizen. So, like, there's just not going to be anything that's safe. There's no one that's going to be safe, and people are going to, like, American citizens are going to be deported. American citizens are going to be shut down and canceled from YouTube or Twitch or whatever other streaming service we've seen. We've already seen the Trump administration go after like CNN and MSNBC, and we've seen pro-Palestinian voices from those major networks getting canceled too. We know that this is a huge crackdown on freedom of speech on every level. So it really only is a matter of time. If we knew you'd criticize Trump, we wouldn't have let you be born. Exactly. It's the only time we can get conservatives to support abortion. If we knew you were going to criticize Trump, then we'd let abortion be legal for you. Anyway, guys, let's get into some fun, stupid drama stuff. I don't have that much more time to stream, but I think that this is, just like dumb drama stuff. So what is this? AB calls out Millhouse. So the guy from the Do Not Worry podcast, I think is like Anthony Sargon or something. Or Sargon? Sargon? I don't know. I'm following him on Twitter. I don't know why I just don't look him up there. Twitter. Okay. Anthony Sargon. Shouldn't he show up since I'm following him? Okay, it is Anthony Sargon. So what is happening? Going live reacting to Ethan Klein threatening Noah Samson with a lawsuit. Hey, he's live right now? That's cool. I want to have @Sarkill on the show, but I know it would make shit weird with Ethan. If there's any way to make it happen, AB, let's try. So he's just like talking to AB. Can someone provide me with a full clip or time codes, please? When did this start? What is this? Ethan Klein Chapo Trap House. Please stop devaluing art with this AI slot. Thank you. Despite what AB thinks, we do defend him on the show and we acknowledge the tricky position he's in. Many viewers think I'm being too charitable. I just want to believe he's going to do the right thing despite him proving me wrong over and over again. So what is happening? Like, Ethan and Anthony are live? Oh, damn, Ethan's live? All right, I might have to stream again tonight once he's done. Okay, I just can't watch the show without timestamps. It's impossible. Love you, Anthony, but your charitable treatment of AB is incredibly annoying given his increasingly vile behavior. What has AB done? Like, he's just a little sycophant for Ethan. Like, I don't know, guys. Sometimes I feel like when I stream stuff that people get all hyped up about, I'm just like, why do you care about that? Sometimes it makes me feel a little bit like uninteresting, but there are things that I think people should care about. But like getting riled up about AB, what has he done? He hasn't said shit. Am I missing something? Oh yeah, the Chapo. I'm gonna have to like watch it later. I don't have too much time right now, but is it Chapo or Chapo? Chapo Trap House with Matt Lieb. I mean, Matt Lieb's a legend, and yeah, it was pretty funny. Israel. So yeah, what happened with it? Let me just search his AB posts. Any recent tomfoolery clips lately? Bro, that guy's crazy. I don't know, guys. I don't even really like want to talk about him or talk to him anymore. It's Ethan just sniffing. Yeah, can they timestamp all of Ethan's tweets or all of Ethan's sniffs? AB from H3 takes shots at Millhouse. Millhouse is a podcaster. I want to have, okay, so AB. New podcast episode, ceasefire in Lebanon, and AB stands up to Lonerbox and Ethan Klein's propaganda. So this was a while ago, yeah, 2024. Yeah, that shit was hard to watch. AB handled it with class. I'm sure he wanted to speak up more, but I get how that can be difficult. Also, AB, how could you do this to me? So it's just like, I guess like, because AB is Lebanese and so he wants to talk about it. Ethan talked about me for another 10 minutes last night and they called me the say my name guy. Ethan has definitely seen my tweets and my videos, by the way. AB was nice though and tried adding context. We'll try to respond tomorrow. My cat is not feeling well. Okay, so what did this shit say?
I did not lose any sleep. I don't got notifications on my Twitter. I don't give a fuck. But him trying so hard to cosplay is whatever the fuck he's trying to do, it didn't go so smooth for him. And also, you know, fuck it. Millhouse, I don't know if you'll see this clip. I want to say shame on you for me telling a white dude that he has no right to speak for me as an Arab, and then you look at the camera and you say, well, as a Lebanese person, I'm saying that you're a disappointment. You could say whatever you want. Nahnu Arab, you can say whatever you want to me, say however you want to, but to do it in a way in which you side with a white person, Habibi, you're getting too high off the snark cloud, okay? I'm telling you that as someone.
I cut off a little early. I honestly have no idea like what the hell they're talking about. So what? He's saying AB is like a race traitor or something? How did he side with a white person? Elon's daughter called Hassan a pretentious mansplainer, and OMG, she is just literally so correct. Okay, let me just look this up. How would it feel seeing people attack AB? You're on the side of the IDF, you race traitor. Quit your job and start a show with me instead. I just want to support Palestine and have fun in my job. I don't know. Is this like dumb drama worth looking into for like the next 15 minutes? Because this has to be from a Reddit clip, right? Anthony. AB calls out Anthony, watch selection for the crew. AB. I think AB should. I think good old Snark Club defense. Sage. AB gets grief no matter what he does. Bro, there's like a sound clip from one of the recent episodes that I wanted to clip out where Ethan's like, Noah Samson is a sexy beast or some shit like that. It's like, look at me, a sexy hunk with my mustache. It's like, bro, Ethan has an issue with people that he finds attractive. Like, maybe he's a little bit bi and he's just like, I don't know how to deal with these feelings. Okay, so what the fuck is happening? I guess I don't really care, to be honest. Ethan talked about me for yeah, I don't know. Watch Bad Empanada. All right, Bad Empanada. He's made like some pretty good. Yeah, but like once again, Bad Empanada's made some videos that I'm like, why are you even talking about this? So I guess he's like been trying to beef up his secondary channel. Why liberals claim to be leftists. Oh yeah, ContraPoints made a video. I kind of wanted to watch that. Most embarrassing tattoo ever. The worst Zionist in the world. Is this the one that you're talking about? Ethan hasn't grown up. He attacks people's physical appearance all the time. The gist of it is they called AB a collaborator and he wants to speak up more. It's a nothing burger. Go to his live channel. Yeah, this is his live channel. We all know AB is just trying to make his cash. I mean, guys, like, people might not have been ideological Nazis, but they still worked with the Nazis. He's spineless and that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big step to stand up for what you believe is right, and I just don't think AB is like the most informed person in the world on these issues, and so his idea of pushback is when Lonerbox gets on and says, actually, like, the Palestinians deserve to get genocided. He's like, okay, but like, can we at least say from the river to the sea? Like, that's his idea of pushback. Obviously, he doesn't push back against Ethan that much because Ethan was literally like, no, Hamas is the one causing this war to continue, and he didn't say shit about that. which I thought was really interesting. The worst Zionist. Oh, it's the worst Zionist. All right, let's watch this one. Let's watch
I
this.
want to
and then I might
introduce
end.
you guys to the worst Zionists in the world. If you had to guess which country had the worst Zionists in the world, which would you think? Like probably the USA or the UK, right? Maybe even Australia, easily. Like I'm talking about outside of Israel, obviously. The Israelis are the worst. But I guarantee you that none of your responses are going to be correct because there is one country where it is the worst. It's the worst, okay? Now, let's imagine you are a rich television presenter in a country that isn't Israel that I'm not going to reveal yet. You're impossibly rich and popular for no one knows why. You're incredibly stupid. You're basically an amalgamation of every dumb American media personality. There's nothing to you. You used to try and do debates with teenagers live, but you stopped doing them because you lost every single one. And now, for God only knows why, you're on the screen for 2 hours every single day saying whatever you want, and it's all impossibly stupid. Are you an oppressed concentration camp inmate? Well, you think you are. Oh my God, the caption to this is almost as unbelievable as the fact that he did it. The caption to this that I am about to show you is a strong, meaningful gesture by Mr. Edward Feynman in support of Israel and in its struggle against terrorism. Please look at what you're about to see. Please look at what you're about to see, and I assure you it has nothing to do with AI.
Decidí ponerme esto que era la insignia que le ponían los nazis a los judíos, ¿no?
You don't even need to understand what he's saying, just watch.
En el momento del Holocausto, en aquel momento de los nazis, lo vi al embajador israelí ante la ONU. ¿No lo viste?
This guy spent like a month wearing a gold star on TV with the Israeli flag on his desk. Now, in Argentina, there are people of Arab ancestry, but the thing is, like, they're denationalized. They assimilated. They don't give a shit that they used to be Arabs. So, like, there's no such thing as, like, a pro-Palestinian voting bloc in Argentina. But what you do have in Argentina are a ton of Jews, most of whom are Zionists. Like, they love Israel. They love genocide. What more is there to say about that? So you have, like, this political landscape that is just totally...
All right, let's just, like, skip to where he talks about AB a little bit. Is it? No. Ayad. Does he talk about him at all? The worst Zionist? Does he talk about AB at all in this? I don't know. I don't think this is about AB at all. But yeah, like, obviously Zionism is a global effort. Oh, just Ethan and Lonerbox.
Justified in the case against her. Great. And in Argentina, this is like what happens with Zionism because no one fucking gives a shit. No one can say something that's as simple as, you know what? I'm not going to sit down with this Zionist. I'll go and talk about this somewhere else. There's zero principles. There's nothing. I'll sit down with a Zionist. And the worst part about this is this isn't the first fucking time this happened. I mean, I'll show you my fucking, like, a screenshot of my DMs with him. So I sent this to him in April last year, as you can see. I said, Pablo, don't never invite Zionists to talk in your channel again, please. And he's like, you know, he came to me for common interest, but he seemed a bit too indulgent or something. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
Seemed a bit too indulgent. That's hilarious. That's kind of like an accurate way of describing Lonerbox. Anyway, like, this whole Noah Samsen lawsuit is fucking crazy. Like, obviously Ethan Klein is actually supports, like, he supports the genocide. That one clip, I'm kind of curious to see if he left it up, if he left that video up. H3 podcast. Like, did he leave that video up? Noah Samsen, retract or lawyer up. Okay, so you're not even suing him yet, then. Like, man, Ethan is such a, like, he's a tease for something that never comes. Noah Samsen exposed as a massive creep. Which was the one that I saw? Was it this one where he's literally like,
supporting
oh yeah, no, Hamas is completely to blame for all of this violence happening.
Safety. I grew up in Gaza, where I experienced Israeli violence and bombardment, including one incident that almost killed me and caused me permanent hearing impairment. My family is still in Gaza. And
yeah, it was the Palestinian protests.
He's really... that guy's much bigger.
Yeah, that guy's
on the shoulder. I'm very...
I guess the reason why AB is important is I don't know. It's interesting. Obviously, like, you can say, oh, you're a race traitor. That's kind of a dumb thing to say, because at the end of the day, people, even though there is racism for sure, people are mostly motivated by like their class interests. It's just so happens that people get put into classes based off of race a lot of the time. But I don't think it's like that interesting to say, oh, like, oh, you're a black Republican, you're a race traitor. That's not the best way to come at someone like that. You should go after their talking points. And AB doesn't really have talking points. But what's interesting about that whole idea is that Ethan does believe that Hamas is completely like anti-Semitic, and that's their main driving force. And so whenever we've like seen on the show Ethan talking about Hamas, and he's like, oh wow, they'll even do something to Arab people, or they've even kept like they've even kept a Somalian in prison for 4 years. He's even Somalian, like he's not even Jewish. And it's just like, I wonder if AB is getting so mad about people being like, oh, you're Lebanese and you're supporting this, is because he is on a show that believes in kind of like this race science or like race politics, where it's like, oh, it's just Arabs versus Jews with Hamas. And if you are an Arab, then you're on the side of Hamas and stuff like that. So I wonder if that's like kind of what's eating at him, because it's weird that he'd get so worked up about a random podcaster like calling him out. But anyway, so to conclude, pretty good day. We won the election. Great court case in Alabama got handed down, allowing people to help facilitate lower income women to get abortions out of state. That's all great things. Polls have come out and the Republicans are tanking. Donald Trump is starting to break from Elon Musk. All of these are great things. However, the Democrats are still just like stuck in amber, and we need a lot more pressure to push on to these people so that we get things done. And definitely contact like your governor, contact your state senators and state representatives, and be like, ask for some protections for people that are green card holders or vulnerable citizens or on student visas in your state, because this has to be done on a state basis. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop streaming for now. I'm going to stream more tonight, and we're going to cover the newest episode and see if there's any kind of actual material to this lawsuit that Ethan's throwing at Noah Sampson. So thanks for watching. Yeah, I don't think Trump and Elon are breaking up that much, but I don't know. It's like the first kind of cracks that we've seen, and this was an undeniable failure for Elon Musk. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll get back to you later.